Coming up on Family Futures today.
Because when you've been active and you're getting into a relationship, that was so important to me.
And when you say active, we mean by active?
Sexually active before, with my spouses and stuff. So,
you had that 4-year break.
Yeah. And
so you were no longer active?
No, I wasn't active, but I was ready to get active once I started dating. You had a problem. I saw you staring at something. And then we got into a conversation. And I told him, I said, the thing about it, when we got married, I asked you not to lie. Mm-hmm. I don't like a liar.
As a man, I had needs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And I was going to have sex. But before we got involved in having the sexual act, Jack and Imp came on.
Mm-hmm.
You're speaking from your pain. And because you're okay with it doesn't make it okay.
Okay.
What you want for your children and your grandchildren is to have everything you have and more.
Yourself.
Hello, man. How are you? Today's couple is the Kaisers of Mose and Vivian. You know what, babe? I heard she's a cougar.
Yes, and they're not young either.
Oh my goodness. This is going to be fun. But I think we can handle it. You ready for this?
I am. You ready?
Let's go for it.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it. Well, thank you for coming in again and being willing to share some of your marriage experiences with us. And one of the things that Nicole and I do is we actually talk to couples and actually even enhance where they may be. And we have several books that we've written. Marriage Done Right is Hard Work, but it's worth it. It puts the fun, fine focus back into your marriage. We also have a book, Parenting Done Right is Hard Work, but it's worth it. It's how you win the battle for your children. And then Leadership Done Right is hard work, but it's worth it. And it's about becoming a leader of impact from the inside out so that really both individuals can thrive in whatever sphere they're in. But with that being said, tell me about you guys. I'm really interested to know. I mean, I know both of you have been married more than once, and you've overcome some challenges.
Oh, yes. That we have.
Yeah, you can start out.
Okay, thanks. This is my third marriage. I got married. My first marriage was at a young age. I really didn't want to get married, but they talked me into it and had one son. And my second marriage, he divorced me, which was a blessing. And then Mose comes along. And at this time,
It showed up, huh, Mo?
Yeah, at my aunt's house. And I met Mose because my aunt sent me to the basement to see, he was painting for her and to see how he was doing. And when I went downstairs, imagine this, you got this dark-skinned man with white paint, and paint is dripping all on his face. You can see the eyes and you can see the teeth. So I go upstairs and I told my aunt, I said, he got more paint on him than he did your ceiling. So it started from there. And I didn't know nothing about him, and I left.
You knew he couldn't paint.
Yeah, that's one thing. That's true.
But she found out I had beautiful teeth.
Yeah. That's true too.
It's all in perspective.
Yeah. But it was funny. And at this time, I had foster teenage girls I was trying to help.
Okay.
They had a lot of challenge in their life, so I didn't date. I was dealing with teenage girls. And we had a cookout at my aunt's house. I did a crab boil, and Mose asked me to go out. And I told him, no, I don't date. And he looked at me. I said, I just don't date. So you could tell him what you told my aunt.
Well, I told her aunt that, hey, I got to talk to her. I got to get her on my side. I said, so we got to make up a nickname for her. And me and her aunt came up with the nickname of Shortcake. So I started calling her Shortcake. And sooner or later, she called me to help her do some work in her garage because she was doing a moving. And
you considered that a date, huh?
That was my date. Until we had the big date.
Okay.
Cost me $225, by the way.
Oh, she paid for the first date?
Yeah, I paid him to help me get some stuff organized.
Oh, okay, okay.
And that was her first marriage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, then I told you no, I got on a motorcycle. My brother had a motorcycle. Then you asked me again, I told you no again. then my foster daughter ran away.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had an empty nest. I didn't have no kids in my home. And so God told me, when he asks you again, say yes.
Hold on, how many times had you asked up until this point?
This makes my second time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the third time, I went to my aunt, he was there, and he asked me again, and I said, yes, I think it shocked you, didn't it?
It did.
He looked and said, really? I said, yeah. So,
Well, why were you reluctant?
well, when you've been married twice, I had the foster teenage girls. I didn't want to get into a sexual relationship. I didn't want to get into and when you have had that kind of lifestyle, I prefer not to date. Then you don't put yourself in that position, So with Mose, that's what I was thinking, I don't want to be in this position. So when I decided to go for the date, I knew I had to be ready. No teenage girls in the house. I didn't want that with the man, especially foster girls who already have been through a lot of issues in their life. I didn't want to bring that into their life. I'm there trying to help them. So when he asked the third time, there wasn't no teenage girls in the house. And like I told him, that's the way I am. This is who I am. I love the Lord and I live for him. And this is what I do. So our first date was Famous Dave.
Yes.
Okay.
Barbecue place.
Yeah.
Now, how long had you been single? Leading
Oh
up
my
to
Lord.
that
Probably
first
about 4 years, maybe about 4 years.
date? Okay.
I've been divorced about 4 years. So it was a hard divorce I went through, but it was God brought me through it. So it was great.
He brought you me.
Yeah, he did, didn't he, baby? Yeah, he did.
So why were you so persistent, Mo?
Well, my wife, I had married before I married Vivian. She had some issues, some medical issues, and she passed away. And before that point that she passed away, I was always there to carry through with the vow ceremony that death do us part. And I was there to the end. I seen her basically fall dead in front of my face. But with the strength of God, I gave her CPR, and I got her pulse coming back. I got her breathing. By that time, the ambulance had come. She flatlined twice in the ambulance. So when I got to the hospital, they wouldn't let me drive. It was a real emotional thing.
Sure.
And after that point, I didn't want to be alone no more. I had been alone for about 2 or 3 years before I met her. So that's how we became best friends and the love of my life.
And how long were you guys courting before?
2 months.
2 months.
Oh, wow. That
2
was a
months.
whirlwind.
Yeah, it was. Well, because when you've been active and you're getting into a relationship, that was so important to me. And
when you say act, what do you mean by active?
Sexually active before, with my spouses and stuff. So,
and then you had that 4-year break.
Yeah. And
so you were no longer active?
No, I wasn't active, but I was ready to get active once I started dating. Once I started dating. And
you saw this dark-skinned brother with the nice teeth.
Yeah. And so he would start helping me during my farmer's market, selling my product. And my best girlfriend, we decided this day, we went and got our life stuff. We went over to the courthouse, and 2 months, we had dated for 2 months and we was married. But I talked to him. I told him this is things in the marriage I'm expecting, and we both talked. And I told him, I said, I'll never stay in another marriage that I'm very unhappy with. I said, I'll leave you the first week if I have to, because I'll never do that to myself again. Just stay year after year in something that you're miserable. You just don't even want to go home. You look for ways to travel, not to even go home anymore. I said, I'll never do that to myself again. It's not worth it. That's not what God wanted for me. And we heard Jack Van Imp on TV, this minister, and he was talking about you need to be married, not sexually active. And we looked at each other and said, we need to get married before things start happening. We were seeing more of each other.
Okay. What do you mean? So you're 2 months in. You just happen to be sitting together watching television.
In the bed together.
in the bed together.
Not
Look at
sitting
that.
together, in the bed
Oh,
together.
okay. See, now the
Oh, so
rest
you,
of the
you weren't on the
story.
couch.
No, you weren't on the
Okay.
couch.
Okay.
Right there.
So then you had become active
We had became active.
within that before
That
the 2
that
months.
month.
Okay.
And when we heard Jack Van Dam give this message, we
Mhm.
got up. That was it. We decided to go get our marriage license.
Mhm.
Go, because we had talked about having a wedding that August.
Yeah.
And we said, no,
Mhm.
we're going to do this. We got to do it. And we did.
Yeah.
And we haven't regretted it. We haven't
Wow.
regretted
And
it.
how long has it been since then?
8 years.
Now, Viv said that when you guys got together, she told you what she expected in marriage. What did you tell her about your expectations, Mo?
Well, my expectation that I told Vivian is this, that since I was married for 11 years before I lost my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how to really be dedicated to a woman. And my thing that I made vow with Vivian that I would never hurt her, lie to her, or make her cry. Those was my vows.
And always keep you happy.
And I always keep her happy.
And what did you want from her?
Just her love, companion, friendship, and she was beautiful to me, so that was enough for me.
Coming up on Family Futures today.
You got a problem? I saw you staring at something. And then we got into a conversation. And I told him, I said, the thing about it when we got married, I asked you not to lie. I don't like a liar.
As a man, I had needs. Okay? And I was going to have sex. But before we got involved in having the sexual act, Jack and Pimp came.
You don't want to get caught up into that living together and, that's as old as I was. I said, no, I want to do it God's way.
Are you ready to make monumental changes in your life, business, or relationship and are looking for a push in the right direction? Tony and Nicole Davis from the brand new TV show Family Futures Today offer personal development and relationship coaching services so that you can get your life and your relationships on a path to success. After nearly 3 decades of marriage, Tony and Nicole know what it takes to have a dynamic marriage and be inspiring parents without giving up on personal goals and dreams. As co-founders of Empowered to Engage, they've released the Done Right book series on leadership, marriage, and parenting, and travel across the United States, helping people just like you. And now, they're expanding to help individuals, couples, and families around the globe. For more information and to sign up for your free consultation, visit www.empoweredtoengage.com.
Hi, this is Wendy, and welcome to The Wendy Life. This is a brand new show. We are celebrating some unsung champions in our community, the disabled community. I have been a mom of disabled children for 21 years, and I look to bring light to this community. We are going to talk to and celebrate therapists, teachers, doctors in this community. We're going to talk to the special needs community themselves, people who are rocking out this life despite their disability, showing us how to live our best lives no matter what life throws at us. You can find us on the Ultimate Faith TV network, which is on your Roku streaming box, or Road to Eternity on YouTube. That's Road, the number 2, and Eternity.
The Wendy Life. New episodes every second and fourth Friday on the Road to Eternity channel.
Like you, my family is always looking for great movies and TV shows to enjoy together. So you can only imagine how excited I was when we decided to create our very own media ministry, Road to Eternity. We believe in creating entertainment that edifies the soul by developing stories that incorporate faith and hope in people's lives. So whether you're watching a movie or even a television show, we desire to bring you closer to Jesus Christ by releasing entertainment that your family and friends can enjoy. From our family to yours, we thank you for joining us as we take you on this new and exciting journey.
to tell you, the reason I wanted to bring you down here was because I heard some things outside the cave. And I said, man, I just want to get most man to man. Let's talk about some things. Let's see if he can confirm what I was hearing. Okay? So you talked about when you guys got together, you talked about wanting to be with someone, right? Now, I just need to know, were you a practicing Christian at that point in time?
Yes, I was.
You was. And what about Viv?
She was a Christian. But she still is a Christian.
At that time?
Yes.
Okay, so explain to me how you guys ended up in that bed watching Jack Van Impe.
Well, I was spending the night and we got a little cozy. We had a little candlelights and we ended up in the bed.
Why? But why? Why, if you knew that wasn't the direction that a relationship outside of matrimony should go?
Well, see, first of all, the way I started out when I was young, having flings and girlfriends and things like that of that sort, I was doing the worldly thing. And as being a Christian, I was asking God at the same time committing a sin. Same thing as God said to Adam, all these things is yours, except this one thing. But Adam still fell off. Not because he did it first, but the woman he brought to him did. So he included into the sin. You follow me?
No.
Well, let's make it a little clearer. As a man, I had needs. Okay? And I was going to have sex. But before we got involved in having the sexual act, Jack Van Impe came on and said, this is wrong for a man to have sex with a woman if he's not married. That ended the whole ball game.
So had you guys had sex before then?
No.
So whose idea was it to get in the bed? Who?
The man.
It was you. You and she said yes.
Well, it's her bed.
What does that have to do with it?
Well, I'm a visitor at a woman's house, and if things would have went the way it was, we would have had sex. That's what I'm getting at.
So let me ask you, because I know, we talked earlier about the fact that you guys did counseling. Are you guys still going to counseling, and how often do you do that?
No, we're not going to counseling. In the beginning of our marriage, we did because Mose came to me with the issue about lust. So that was the issue he was dealing with. And so we decided to go to the pastor together and get some counseling about that. And I sat in a couple of the sessions that he was having. Then the pastor just asked me, could I excuse myself? He really wanted to meet with Mose one-on-one. So I would prefer, Mose, he tells his own story about that. But God helped us through that, and a lot of prayers. But I was committed in this marriage that I was going to let God lead it, and he just continued to direct me. You go through things, but when you go through with God, it's amazing how you could come out stronger on the other side.
So how did you find out that lust was an issue?
He told me. We went to a concert, and it was something that transpired, and I asked him, I said, you got a problem? I saw you staring at something. And then we got into a conversation, and I told him, I said, the thing about it, when we got married, I asked you not to lie. I don't like a liar.
So what's the lying about? Because I heard her mention that too.
Well, like you say, God hates a liar. And if it was something that I know that wasn't right, and she asked me, and then I lied to her, and she find out, then that's wrong.
So did you lie to her?
No.
You never lied to her?
No.
Okay, so that's not in it. That was never. That was never.
Like I say, our marriage from the start was agreeable. I can go to her with any kind of problem, any kind of situation. I don't have to be ashamed or not to ask her if I would lie or lust after a woman or a woman hit on me, I can always go to her.
Mm-hmm.
We have an open relationship.
Open relationship? What does that mean?
For far as communication.
Uh-huh.
I have found favor with God through this marriage. My other marriage, I had found favor with God because my wife was an evangelist too. She teach the word. She prayed for people. She visited and she nurtured people. She take people in. All these attributes she had. But I come to the realization now that through Vivian, I have a more strong relationship to God because I already been through the situation in the street. He said, I will lead you beside the still waters. I will restore your soul. And that's where I'm at.
Let me ask you this question, Mo. You said putting God first. What shifted in your relationship for you to put God first? Was it the Jack Van Imp or was it something else?
No, it was, I put my faith in Christ in 92.
I'm talking about with you and Vivian.
What changed my expects for following Christ?
Yeah, where both of you would put God first.
Well, that happened the night that we were supposed to be having sex, and Jack Van Imp came on, and at that point we knew that it was wrong to have sexual relationship with a person out of marriage.
Okay.
So we put God first, and we just waited till we got married.
I've learned this time in marriage, I go to him before I do anything. And we sit down and we discuss it together. Before, when you've been a leader in a house for so long, and especially as black women, I'll say, we always had to take control.
Okay.
We always had to, so I didn't have that thing where I sit down and talk to my mate what I wanted to do. I just go do it.
You learn how to do things her way to please her, and that makes everything okay. Long as you're pleasing, okay, yeah.
It was like, I work long hours, 12 hours some days. Some days she worked long hours. When we come home, we enjoy each other. Sometime I might want to have sex. She's tired. She know how to say no. But if it's right for her to withhold sex from me, no. She said this to me. She said, well, I'll have sex with you, but I'm not going to be all into it because I'm tired. Anytime I want sex, I can ask her.
And that's okay with you?
That's fine with me.
Is she always tired?
No, she ain't always tired.
So what percentage of the time would you say she's not tired?
60%.
That she's not tired. So, okay, so it's pretty good there then, huh?
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're really committed this time to making this marriage.
Yes, I am.
What is it that drives that? So when we were talking, you said, you've been married a couple times. You kind of brushed over that pretty quickly. You didn't give any details around that.
Well, my first husband, I was 17, 18 years old. I wasn't ready to get married. He convinced me. And he adopted my son. I was a single mom. And I still wasn't ready to get married. Okay. So I told him we needed a divorce. I was going to make his life miserable. And I would have. And I know I would have. My second marriage, my husband.
And how long were you married the first time?
I don't even remember.
Okay.
It was not that long. And my second husband, we was married for 10 years.
Now, how long had you been separated before you got married the second time?
Probably about 9 years, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, a long time. It took me a long time to get married a second time, maybe longer than that, because I was so independent. And that's the hardest thing when you're going into a marriage.
Yes.
When you've been so independent doing things your way.
Of course.
Yeah. And I look at my second marriage, I probably played a lot of role in that. I could have been better than what I was as a wife, learning. So with Mo,
what regard though? Like how?
taking charge over so many things, not allowing him to do more of the financial stuff.
Okay.
And I'm taking on that responsibility. Even though he was a licensed electrician, he would just tell people, give me what you want. He go through wire a whole house. He may get paid hardly nothing, pennies. So when you're married to a licensed electrician, your gas is off. You have to go to your mom's house and take a bath. There's something wrong with that picture.
Is there anything that you would want to do to enhance your relationship to make it better? And I'm gonna tell you because, now, granted, and maybe I may be different in this from this perspective, right? But I'm one who believes that you can always get better, even if you're doing it great. You can always get better.
Oh yeah.
What would you like to do better?
Well, for myself, I would like to spend more time with her for vacationing, just spoiling her, going out more, outgoing. Because see, I get up at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. I have to be at work at 6.
What do you do?
I work in production.
What do you produce?
We produce stuff for Walmart for 52 states and 2 states abroad.
Okay.
Hawaii, Europe.
The non-Kona states.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we ship out over 52 states.
Okay.
And you can see our product in Walmart when you go in the ladies aisle. And we make the hardware for the displays with the ladies' graphics and the makeup and stuff like that.
Okay. You had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get that stuff out, right?
Man, it's the job.
Okay. So you get up at 5:30 in the morning. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Walk me through the day.
Oh, my day is.
Walk me through the day from the perspective you said you want to spend more time with her.
Okay. I get up in the morning. We pray. We always on one accord.
Who leads the prayer?
We both do. I start out, she end up, or she start out, I end.
Okay.
We pray during the day. When I call and talk to her, we pray. We always have a communion with putting God first in every one of, in my situation, in her situation.
How many hours a day do you normally work?
I work 40 hours a week, and
So
when our product is up, like the fall season come, we peak up, and then summer we peak down. Then through different seasons, we have a big turnout.
Okay, let me just back up. So I'm just trying to keep it in the perspective of you spending more time with Vic. So you get up at 5. What time do you actually go into the office?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. So you're done by what? 2, 3?
2:30.
Okay. And then
And when she get in, we spend a little time. We go out. We have a little date. Before you know it, the time is over. It's time for me to go back to bed.
So you go out. You have a little date every night?
Not every night. I can't date every night. I gotta get some rest.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
So you come in. You leave at around 2:30 or 3.
I come in at 2:30.
Okay.
Okay. If she picks me up, we might go have dinner or something. We come back to the house. That's not really spending a lot of time. That's just getting something to eat, go back home.
You guys talk?
Yeah, we always talking.
Okay.
Now, do you think, Viv, this time, because this is your 3rd marriage?
Yeah.
And in the back of your mind, and you can say whether or not, that's true or no. In the back of your mind, it's like, I will not have another failed marriage. In the same vein that you said, I will not allow myself to be unhappy. Is the strength of your desire for the marriage to work kind of what drives your willingness to accept or allow whatever may be happening or not happening to color how you see the marriage?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Okay.
I tell you why this is
Okay.
different.
Okay.
I can have a husband that loves me,
Okay.
and I know it.
Yes.
It's not because he tells me he loves me.
Yes.
He shows me he loves me.
Yes.
When he opened up the doors for me.
Mm-hmm.
When he don't allow me to bring in groceries for my car.
Yes.
When he's always there. He'll rub my feet. He'll rub my back. He shows me that he loves me. There's never a morning I don't hear my husband praying for me when he first wake up. He praying for his wife. He asking God to cover me that day, whatever I'm doing. That's what drives me in this marriage. That's what makes me want to be a better wife.
Because you're getting the love reciprocated,
Yes.
which is what you had not experienced before.
That's it. That's
That's
it.
beautiful.
Yes,
That's
it is.
beautiful. You ready to sit down and eat a
Yes,
little
let's
something?
go.
So what do you want to do?
So basically,
From a
like
time
I say,
perspective.
vacationing, stuff like that. Time for just getaway time, get away from the house, get away, just going out and venture out in nature and stuff like that.
Okay, so how you gonna make that happen?
I got to set goals. I got a vacation coming up here in April. We going to the Bahamas.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're gonna
So
do
we
it.
starting.
You're gonna do it. You're gonna do it.
Yeah, we're gonna do it.
Okay, good. Okay. Well, like I said, I just wanted to get inside your head to see where you were coming from.
Yeah.
Just to get a little more insight. Just based on some things I thought I heard upstairs. And, okay, good. Well, I guess we can go back and talk to the ladies. And
Yeah.
I know the food is going to be good.
Oh yeah.
All right.
It always is when the ladies cook it.
Yeah. Well, it always is when my lady's cooking it, but I don't know if it's always because the ladies are cooking it. But yeah, my lady, she can throw that, so that's good.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on upstairs.
All right.
That's not what he wants for us. That's not what he wants. But I'm glad I prayed and God let me say yes. Because I told him, when you've been adults and you've been out there, you don't want to get caught up into that living together. And, that's as old as I was. I said, no, I want to do it God's way. And so we was married.
Yeah.
It's been good.
Yeah, it's been great. But I come to find out, as being married to Vivian, it was that sense of letting loose and being totally honest with her. I can go with my dirtiest secret or whatever happened in life or whatever struggles I'm going to. I'm not ashamed to come to her. We communicate openly at all times.
Yes.
No matter, it's nothing that's really bad that I couldn't go tell her.
And that's the truth. Like I told him, I'm not the type of woman I'm going to fall on the floor and pull my hair out and just bawl. I said, no, I'm a woman that's going to pray for you. I can't pray for you in the right way unless I know what you do, whether it's a sexual thing, whether it's angry, whether it's a lying spirit. But I know how to pray for you. And we went through some things, and but God, He just showed up and showed out in our marriage, and it just became stronger.
Like I say, the enemy tried to attack our marriage, and we stayed together, we prayed together, and the peace of God just took over every aspect of our life. So right now, it's nothing that can come in between us, because when we got married, it's like a union. It's something totally important to me to love her as I love Christ and as Christ loved me. So I try to do that honestly every day with her.
Baby, as you know, I just spoke to Mo.
Yeah, and I just spoke to Vivian, and that was really something. In fact, okay, so she said they had to go to counseling, that he had a...
They had to do what? Go to counseling? I talked to that brother. He said they've never had any problems whatsoever after watching the Jack Van Ness.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
What you mean?
I asked him if they've had any challenges in their marriage since that incident, and he said absolutely not. No, never, none.
Okay, well, she said they went to counseling because of his lust issues.
Well, he doesn't remember that.
Well, she also said that he had a lying issue and they needed counseling for that as well.
He has never lied to her, according to him.
Okay, well, somebody's not telling the truth.
Well, maybe the guy who used to lie is not telling the truth. Because I'm telling you, he told me that they haven't had any issues with lying. He's never lied to her. He told me that they haven't had any challenges in their marriage since that watching Jack Van Ness on TV that night before they were going to get together in a biblical way.
Right, before they were married.
Okay,
now she did say that. But the other thing she said, even though she said they did have problems with lust and lying, it was in the early stages. And now everything is wedded bliss. And I have a problem with that.
Well, he sounded like he lied tonight, so I guess it wasn't in the past, huh?
I don't know what we're gonna do, because it's hard to talk to people who don't believe that they have problems in their marriage. And that makes it very hard to fix those things if you can't first acknowledge that there's an issue.
Yeah,
so what do we do with that?
We have to get them to acknowledge what's really going on so that they can believe.
And that's gonna be what we work on tonight.
That's what we're gonna have to work on. It's gonna be tough though, babe, but I think we can do it.
Well, marriage done right is, right? It's hard work.
And it's worth it.
So that was funny. Yes.
You did a great great job on this meal. You
Oh.
put your foot in it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you,
The
thank you.
presentation was just awesome.
Thank you. Well, that's the least I could do. Special food for a special couple.
Oh, thank you so
Yes.
much. It's
Thank
been
you.
such a blessed time.
Yes.
Guys, just talking.
Yes, it has. And we
Mhm.
really enjoyed having you here.
Thank you so
Mhm.
very much.
Yes.
Now, do you guys like mussels?
I love mussels. Yeah, I do. I
Well,
love.
I'm not a big seafood person,
Nah.
but I don't mind her taking her to places that she enjoys.
Mm-hmm.
And,
So what do you like to eat most?
I like basically pork chop, ribs, chocolate.
anything chocolate.
Chocolate.
Love is sweet. Yeah. Love is sweet.
Sweets.
Yeah.
Sweets, a
Sweet
big
too.
one, huh?
Got it.
Now, do you cook at all?
Oh, I do.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. What's your expert?
Well, I started out cooking for Bob Evans,
Oh,
and then I moved to a private owner. He moved and got his own shop, so I worked with him a while, and then I did a lot of fast food.
So what can you make that make you just not even want to use my napkin? You know, just go
finger
like that?
looking good.
Oh, you're talking about that breakfast food.
Ah,
Or like the pancakes, the French toast.
You name it.
Bacon.
omelets.
Bacon.
Mhm.
He is, I tell you, he could fry some bacon.
Oh, he want to clog my arteries.
Crispy.
Oh,
I
crispy.
love crispy
Oh,
bacon.
yes, Nicole, you
Oh.
would love it.
Oh,
I don't even fry bacon no more since I married him.
is
I
there
mean,
a
not
special way to
greasy.
fry the bacon?
All right, give us the Bob
No,
Evans secret.
not really.
Okay.
And just keep your eye on it. Don't
Oh,
burn it.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this rice and pineapple bowl, it's really nice too.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
thank you very much. I
Did an
appreciate
outstanding
that.
job.
Yes.
Outstanding
Thank you.
job.
Thank you. Thank you. That's
So-
baby.
I'm gonna tell you, we really enjoyed. At least I know.
Mhm.
I enjoyed talking. Well, no, we talked about. It. We enjoyed talking to you guys. And
Oh, thank you
What did
so
you-
much.
what did you think of the conversations with us?
It was awesome because I was trying to really figure out how can I explain how much this man means to me
Mm-hmm.
and why Nicole was saying, well, why do he mean that much to you? What did he do? And I said, it's the way he treat me as a wife,
Mm-hmm.
how he so considerate, so kind, open up the doors.
Mm-hmm.
I can't bring in the groceries out the car. Never want me to do anything lifting heavy, but always there, always attentive to me, always romantic, always telling me how much he loved me. And I said, that's what made me love him. Because the love I see he has for me.
Yes, that's exactly what you said.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Mo?
Well, I got out of it that the whole concept of being here tonight was learning how to love my wife better.
Hmm.
And I got a sense of pride out of enjoyment out of you guys, and I really appreciate it. I love the talk and I love the atmosphere.
Wow.
Good.
So that's pretty amazing. You said to love your wife better.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
How? She's saying you're already doing all of the wonderful
You know,
things.
like I say, we always keep it biblical. Like God tells us that He would give us a woman that's more precious than ruby and gold,
Yes.
and she is that.
Okay.
And I just like to just tweak it and just make it even better.
Uh-huh.
So what kind of tweaks you want to make, Mo?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Well, I do know how to make frosting.
Okay.
With
Okay,
cream,
yes.
Okay.
But what kind of tweaks you want to make to make the relationship better?
He's giving you the ingredients. Sounds good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Make it more exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm in the same book now. Okay, I
Yeah.
got it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, what you thinking?
No, I was trying to get to the book, but
Okay. Now you got it.
Okay.
She helped me out with that.
That's good.
Okay.
That's good.
Is there anything that you learned about yourself?
Well, I think I did. I think I learned how to be more reliable and open to conversations when it comes to my wife. So, yeah, I did.
Because you're not really in a situation where you get a chance to do that, or just talking to other men about just guy things and relationship things. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, like, wherever I at and whatever environment I'm around, I always show the love that I have for my wife
Mm-hmm.
through talking and the actions of what I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
or being nice, opening the doors, going out for restaurant, going out date night. I always bring that up into my conversation with people.
And don't forget flowers. Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Love to bring me flowers. Sometimes I said, honey, I don't feel like dealing with the flowers. Let's leave them here for another. Yeah, because the maintenance, I'm busy.
Mm-hmm.
But he loves buying me flowers. He really do. And I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Just because flowers?
Yes, because.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's all right.
Yes, it is.
So when you think about your future, you know, because you got 8 years under your belt and striving, of course, till what? Till death do you part.
Till death do you part, but you
Right.
also get close to some grandkids as well.
Right, right. And as you think about that, what is it that you want them to glean from your relationship?
First of all, for them to see the Christ in us.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main thing. And even if we go through a downtime, whatever it is, that they see how we could come back together because of Christ in us.
Mm-hmm.
The grandkids actually see the down times.
Well, really haven't been now with them. I mean, but
If they do,
if
Karen.
something come and they're around us, I mean, I'm just saying that's why we want them to see in us. But they see kissing, they see holding hands, they hear laughter in our house, you know, and just sitting on the couch, cuddle up together, and my grandson right next to us looking at the Minions or whatever we decide to do. That's what I want to instill in them, what a godly relationship could be like. But also let them understand that you go through trials, you go through tribulation. It's not something that happens overnight. It takes work. Marriage is a ministry. And you have to put into it what you want to get out of it.
That's good.
And that's what I want my boys, my grandsons to see. And then when they look at him, how he treat me as a godly woman and a wife, opening up doors. Hey, you take care of your granny. Because I heard him how he tell my grandson, I'm not going to be able to be there at the shows with you. So this is what I expect you to do with your granny. You have to take my place while I'm not there. I heard you tell him, and he said, you make sure she's not doing this and you help do that. And I appreciate that because that's teaching them how to treat a woman even though it's your granny.
Right, right.
Granny's still a woman.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, definitely so. That's true. A cougar woman.
What is the age difference? Because you haven't mentioned that before.
Yeah,
What is it?
7
years.
7 years.
Yeah. And I don't look no older, do I?
No, ma'am. We would have never known that. We've never known that.
Yeah,
didn't tell us.
7 years. 7 years.
So one of the things that we do, you know, when we were downstairs, because we took a little bit of time to just kind of talk through what our time was like with the two of you and the things that we were able to discuss and learn about you as individuals and as a couple. And first of all, just to see the kind of love that you have for one another is always valuable because other people are watching, as we know. You know, whether we know it or not, there are other people that are watching our relationships.
Yes.
So as you think about, and we can share, you know, what we came away with, but as you think about what it is that other people see in your relationship, we've talked about the grandchildren, what other people are seeing because your family members are watching you now, you know, knowing what you've both come through and that you're still together. What is it that you would want people to know about what it takes to keep a relationship going?
God, communication,
faithfulness.
yes, yes, I agree, and being faithful.
So with God and communication and faithfulness, a lot of times it's really difficult to have that kind of conversation that you want to have with your spouse about things that are going on. Now you can be honest, you know, and you can be open, but sometimes there are things that we feel that we might not really know how to express. Just like when you were saying, Nicole, you said it great. What was that we talked about?
Yeah.
Because we just don't have the words for whatever it is. But then there are also blind spots. Have you ever talked about that or heard about that you can have areas in your life that you can't see about how you do things or how you act.
Mm-hmm.
And we all have them.
Yes.
And it normally takes someone outside of us to notice or to bring to our attention something that we're doing or not doing.
Okay.
And so one of the things that we notice as we've been having conversation with you throughout our night together is just how it is that you interact with one another and how it is that you communicate with us and with one another. And so we actually found a blind spot. Would you be interested to know?
We sure would.
Yes.
You would?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, one of the blind spots that we've noticed is that whenever a question is asked, you jump in first.
Okay.
And then most will look to you before he gives an answer.
Okay.
So it appears like, okay, Viv, what do you have to say? And then I'll tag along with that, as opposed to having an independent thought
Okay.
on his own.
Okay.
So that's one of the things that we noticed.
Okay.
And right, so along with that independent thought, it's getting approval. It's as if Mose has to get approval from you
Okay.
for his response or answer to a question. And it's subtle, but over time, if people are interacting with you on a regular basis, they'll pick up on it.
Okay.
Because if you did a percentage of how much you're talking and how much Mose is talking, the scale would be clearly tipped to your side.
You have a thumb on the scale, a weight on the scale. It's all on your side.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
You would agree.
Yes, I would.
Yeah. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, I think it's because the career I had. Number one, I used to be a regional marketing director for a Walmart Corporation for about 16 years.
Okay.
So I was always in leadership, even jobs. I always was in leadership. I always had to speak, talk, go to different conventions, present to presidents of credit unions, what members are about. So I think that who I am, I'm in sales. I'm an entrepreneur. So I think that characteristic of me is what brings that out, where Mose didn't come from that kind of background. You know, I probably am more challenging in that field, so I'm always leading out and speaking and talking, even in our teaching. I know. So that's nothing I'm blindsided about. I see that, but I can understand probably why it's like that because of who I am and who he is. Now, I'm more comfortable being outspoken. I'm more comfortable answering stuff. I think my husband just a little more, laid back. And then he looks at me like, okay, it's this. When we went over speaking, when I met Mose, he had English was kind of conflict, how to pronounce things, so we had to go through all these challenges. So I understand that, and I think that's some of the reason why. Not because I don't respect what he says. I do respect what he says. That's why I always try to get his opinion. When I told you I don't try to do things on my own, I had to learn, stop trying to be the leader in the house, because this is what I always had to do as a single mom, as with a husband that didn't interact. So I go to him and I said, honey, this is what I think. What do you think about it? Draw that out from him. So yeah, that's something we have worked on.
Okay.
I don't know if he has gotten comfortable. You have to ask him, because I really don't know. But I hope he don't be offended. If he is, I hope he would tell me. So yes, I accept that.
Question.
If I was offended, she would know. Now, I'm not the quiet, shy type that you really think I am. I got another side of me that is explosive. When it comes down to stepping on toes or disrespecting me or my wife or my grandkids or anybody in my family, that's a whole different side. But I'm very comfortable where we at in our marriage.
Well, let me just ask this really quickly to stay on that. So in knowing that, now that we've just had this conversation, what do you think you can do differently, even in that piece which you just shared about, because you're more mature and have more experience, what can you do differently?
I think it's just what you guys suggested, just sit back, allow him time to take the lead. And I just sit quietly and patiently and wait on him.
And it'll be good to know how that actually feels, because to say it is one thing, but as you're doing it can be, like,
well, I get that because even in my family, people think I'm always the lead. And this is things I've heard from my siblings.
Okay.
You think you know everything. You do, do everything.
Why do you think they say that, Vic?
Because I'm a talker. And so even with Mose could tell you, I said, you know what? I don't want to do this battle no more with my siblings. It's like tit for tat. I said, so I'm just going to zip it. Whatever they want to say, they say it. I'm not coming back with the response. And yeah, it's work to do that. But I overcame it. And my husband said, I am so proud of you. I don't get in that tit for tat battle no more because what's the point? So I understand what you said. It is hard. It's time for you to work.
Yes.
And when I heard you say, Bill, you said you do it because you have more experience and you have more maturity. But when I look at you, Mose, I would say, well, man, he's above the age of majority, right? And when you hear the definition of not as mature, what goes through your mind when you hear that?
It's just a word to me. My age and my ability to do what I have to do, what God put me here for, is me. They say words and whatever they want to say. But by hearing that from her, it don't upset me. It don't get me angry. I'm neutral with it.
Does it inspire you to want to do more?
It don't do nothing for me. It just shows me that I can love her even more. It's not about word for word. Sometimes people will say the worldly way is a marriage is 50-50. But marriage is not a 50-50. Marriage is 100-100. 100% for me, 100% for her. So I have no in between that. I give her 100%, she give me 100%.
So when she says, I do it because I have more experience and more maturity, you think that's a 100?
Well, what do you feel? I feel nothing.
Because he know that's not trying to put him down. And that's what, to me, you're trying to say. That's not what I meant.
No,
I'm talking about my age-wise, the things that I have to deal with in life that he didn't have to deal with those. Now, there's some things in his life, he could outrun me. I mean, he could take me there. I have never had to experience some of those things that he have went through. So that's what makes the difference. What I'm saying, it's not because I don't respect him or I look at him to be more stupid than me. That's not it. I'm just saying about the things that I have had to deal with has made me what I am today. About speaking up, about saying stuff. If there's a time that, and I have seen my husband get angry, not with me. Because I pray I never do nothing to get him that. I never saw him like that. Then I said, oh my God, is that my husband? And I went there to my sister and said, I've never seen my husband get like that. What did you do?
And I'm going to tell you, it's not from the perspective of being angry. But remember, you're talking about setting the example for those who are watching you, right? So if there's something that, wow, I'm not doing that. And the rationale may be because I lack experience, right? But I know that I'm setting an example for someone else. It's like, well, what do I want to do to make sure that I'm setting that proper example?
Okay.
And that I would want them to follow after me. And that's what I really want most to really give some more thought to.
Well, I tell you what, I'll put it to you like this. If my grandson could be half the man this is, they'll have a good life. If they could be half the man my husband is, when they see him treat me like who God said I am, a queen, I have no problem with my grandson. Whether he don't write a bill out or he don't write a check out, the way he treats me as a woman, then some other man where they don't go out and work for their wives, the wives have to take care of the household. I don't have to do this with him. Or you come home, your feet hurt and swollen, and he takes your shoes off, get on his knees, and massage your feet.
Even when they're not clean.
Even when they're not clean. So if my grandson takes half of the stuff the man do for me, my grandsons will be A-okay.
And I'm going to challenge you right there.
Okay.
Because we don't want them to be half. We always want our children to be better. Just a moment. Just a moment. And I'm saying this because you're speaking from your pain. And because you're okay with it doesn't make it okay.
Okay.
What you want for your children and your grandchildren is to have everything you have and more.
And more.
So when Tony brings up to you about the maturity level, and I see how you respond to it, Mose doesn't have a response. You have a response. Someone saying they're more mature in the ears of the hearer, we're outside of it. It does sound condescending.
Okay.
Because there are other words you could choose. If you're more mature in what way?
Age.
That's no reason, because there are many people who would be older than you who are not as mature.
Well, they haven't accomplished the things I have accomplished. I went through the things I have. A lot of the things in life that you go through, the challenges, the disappointment, that brings maturity in your life. Because those are life experience. Those are life experience.
It brings experience.
Well, I had to grow up fast. When I'm 17, single mom, so maturity had to come because I had someone relying on me. So I couldn't stay a little girl anymore. I had to get out and do the things when it's easy if you've never been in these shoes.
Yes.
Have you been a single mom? Have you been a single mom at 17, still trying to go to school, living in a 1-bedroom apartment? So life experience make you mature even faster than you may want to, because you have to miss out on some things in life. So I have no problem with that. If my grandson, and I'll tell you again, if they could do half of what this man do, a woman would be blessed. Because there's nothing that he withhold from me. And I pray I never make him feel less than what he is. And I don't think I do.
Okay. And we're saying just consider your language. That's all.
Okay, and maybe the words I use is not the right terminology
to lift him up.
Yes. But
The
great man that he is, use words to continue to lift him up.
And keep it in the perspective of, remember, you said you're setting an example for others, right? Because what may be okay subjectively for most may not be acceptable objectively for a lot of other people.
Okay.
Yes.
And just something to consider. You can consider it or you can throw it away, but we're asking you to consider that.
Okay.
Yes.
And I do consider it.
Okay.
And I appreciate your input, but I will consider it, and I'll be careful with the words I choose.
And what's the other thing? And then we can wrap this up. What else are you working on? It was 2 other things we gave you. So being considered.
Oh, the bills, and being considered letting him talk.
Hey.
Oh, I listen. I listen. Baby, talk.
Come on, Mose. What you got? Give us some final words before we end.
Like the baby says, Mama, I think I got a situation here. I got a situation here.
What's the situation?
It's time to go to bed.
Oh, all right, then. Well, we can wrap this up then, okay?
Thank you, guys. We appreciate inviting us to your home.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Toast.
Okay. Yes.
Here's to marriage.
Yes.
Marriage done right is hard work.
Yes.
But it's worth it.
Yeah.
So, babe, how'd you think it went?
It's hard to tell. You know, she was receptive yet defensive, then defensive and receptive.
And what are you gonna do with that? So look, you think Mo gonna start speaking up?
Well, only time will tell.
But you know what? They seem to be committed to their marriage.
They do.
And they seem like they have a desired result that they want to achieve. And I think if they put in the work, they can get there.
And they are going to do it because marriage done right.
It's hard work, but it's worth it.
Give
me some.
All right.
All right, babe.